I am so excited. I finally finished the Star Wars The Old Republic Dark versus Light event. I didn't make it to the last tier, but my goal was just to make it to the second last one, the Eternal tier that gave you this special reward of a new companion that would only be released for the event. And if you haven't been keeping up with the news, the Dark vs. Light event is a limited time event that ran from late June and ends on November 28th. So you only had so much time to work on it. And I've been working on it pretty frantically between working on the videos. This has been my go-to activity for quite a while. And it had some really interesting rewards. There's that companion I mentioned earlier, and there's also some very unique gear that you can only get from this, and the gear actually helps you level faster. It gives you an XP boost. And if you happen to do the final tier, there was some additional rewards, like a really cool mount, but I decided the last tier had just too many crazy things going on, especially you had to do every single hard mode Flashpoint in the game. So not only would you have to get a group together to do all of those, but you'd also need a really good group, because some of them are very, very hard. And in the tiers that I did do, some of the major things that I did were I got to level new characters. You have to do all these events on brand new characters. You can't use an old, super awesome, powerful character. I leveled a character on Republic side to 65 and a character on Imperial side to 65. And I did every single Flashpoint once, even the ones I haven't done for years. And I also had to do chapters 1 through 16 of Knights of the Fallen Empire, the expansion, and then there's the new expansion coming out, but this is the older, earliest chapters of this story. And wow, it was a lot of stuff to do even without the final tier, but it was so fun. I was so excited to be given another reason to level another character. I know many people have already seen every single story, but I tend to really focus on playing one character and achieving as much as I can on them instead of having lots and lots of alts. So I haven't actually seen all the stories. I've still yet to finish both the Agent and the Bounty Hunter story, and before this event I hadn't even ever seen the Warrior story at all. So on the Republic side, I decided to play a character that I'd already played before, but do the dark side. I decided to do a trooper this time instead of a tank. I did like a healer, DPS, commando, and I already knew I loved the commando healer because I've played it before, but I'd never really watched the story as a dark side character, and some of those choices you can make as a dark side trooper are not very nice, and especially some of the choices in Knights of the Fallen Empire in the dark side are crazy. Like, you don't affect the major outcomes of the story. Everything still kind of ends up the same, but there is some in-between stuff that's like huge difference from the light side. What happens in the light side, especially on Asylum. Oh my gosh, I freaked out the first time I saw quite how much Valkorian's power could affect you if you accepted it. And my warrior character, I was really excited to play her as well because I don't love melee classes. Basically, I'm very bad at them. And so I decided to level this character, and I actually didn't even pick an advanced class. So I'm literally just a Sith warrior. Nothing else. I only had like 8 abilities. After I hit like level 40, I think I only got one more ability all the way to 65. And it was really fun though, and very amusing. I had some bad experiences. Once where I went into PvP, which was actually okay because I at least knew what was going on in the war zones, even if I couldn't do any damage. But I hopped into a Flashpoint and I got absolutely obliterated, and nobody in the Flashpoint was happy to see me there, so I ended up leaving and not doing any group stuff for the rest of the time on her. Maybe if I want to do group stuff on her, I'll choose an advanced class later, but for now I'll just enjoy having the title of Sith Warrior. And I got a super cool outfit for her that makes me really happy. I was able to combine a couple pieces of gear in a couple different ways that I really, really enjoyed. I'm playing her as a Zabrak that is so powerful in the Force she doesn't even need to see. She can take off her blindfold only when she deigns to. And my Republic character, my trooper, was actually a really interesting roleplay story. A long, long time ago in our guild, I was helping lead roleplay events, and I needed an idea. We were doing kind of underworld stuff on Coruscant, and I said, hey, okay, everyone who shows up, bring your companion, and bring a companion that looks similar to you, and dress them up exactly the same way you are. And the plot of the story was that an evil scientist, something like that. It made more sense at the time. But they all received a clone to do with as they choose, and one of them decided to kill their clone, one of them kept them as a friend and a buddy, and mine, it actually ended up sparking a whole roleplay arc with a couple people I became close friends with at the time, and my trooper that I played in the storyline was that clone. So she was the clone of my main character. You might have obviously seen my main character all the time that I'm doing the academy, and I'm sure you've seen Bitter Creek, the commando in the white and orange armor. She's my Dark vs. Light Republic character. Doing all the flashpoints once, I think, was my favorite part of this event. It was obviously, there's a lot of flashpoints to do, and it was kind of getting hectic near the end, and I was worried I wasn't going to get them all done, but having a really solid reason to go back into those flashpoints was really fun, because for a very long time, except for the very early expansion, I think flashpoints weren't really worth it in terms of getting gear or anything like that, especially not the easier versions, and the hard ones lately have been too hard that half the time I don't even want to help people with them. But the flashpoints are so fun, and they've got so much attention to detail, so much story, and you've got the ones that absolutely shape certain characters like False Emperor, and there's ones that are kind of just side isolated stories like Red Reaper, and they're just so cool. And if you don't ever get a group together, there's some flashpoints that you don't see solo at all. I think there's about maybe 6 that you can't do alone, and Red Reaper's one of them. There's Mandalorian Raiders, there's Aethys, and these are really cool side stories that have a lot of lore attached to them that you don't get to see alone at all. So if you ever can get a group together that you like, I would definitely suggest going into them. And I actually have a list up. It won't be up to date once 5.0 hits, but you can see it at Swtorista.com/flashpoints. It's pretty easy, but it will show you, at least for now, which ones you can solo and which ones are group only. And I was really lucky. What I did was all the ones that I could do solo, I did them by myself, did them while watching movies or whatever, because I'd seen most of them a ton of times. But the ones that you can only do in a group, I was really happy I got to do them with 3 other guildmates, and we just did like 6 flashpoints all in one night near the very end. It was really fun. And one of our guildmates actually knew every secret tunnel, every way to avoid a boss or a mob, and I was so happy because I didn't want to fight them. I just wanted to see the flashpoint and tick it off the list. And one part that I really didn't enjoy was doing the Knights of the Fallen Empire chapters 1 through 16. And you may have heard that the new expansion, this one, I don't know about Knights of the Eternal Throne yet, but the current first story-based expansion was not very replayable. Like, it's really cool to see the dark side options, but about 90% of it is, at least feels the same. And I'd already played it once on my main character, obviously. I'd watched someone else play the first 9 chapters. I'd already played like the first 5 chapters like probably 3 more times on my various characters, and I wasn't too keen on doing it again. So honestly, I just spacebarred through everything except the very last chapter. But the very last chapter is such a good one. I definitely sat down and watched it. Really, really tugs at your heartstrings, that I don't know, the Valkorian family, can you call them that? It's a good one to watch, but I really didn't enjoy having to do those chapters at all. So what did I like about this event? I loved having a reason to go back in those flashpoints, definitely. And the new companion, I'm so happy to have finished that so I can get her. I know we don't really need companions anymore, but I'm just really happy to have gotten a companion that's limited time, and it was something that you earn, not just something you got for subscribe at so and so time and you get a companion. Congratulations. And she's, if you have her out, people know you went through a lot of trouble to get her. It wasn't just she didn't fall into your lap. And there's some pretty cool things that I got out of the Dark vs. Light packs. I've actually gotten about I'm not sure how many. The last 2 tiers worth of boxes I'm going to open up. So if you guys stick around, I'll have a big pack opening video of them. And there was some cool armor. That way I was talking about the XP boosting armor, and that's a pretty cool reward. I heard a lot of my guildmates saying they specifically wanted to do the event just to get the XP bonus gear so they could level characters faster in the future, but since I already have most of my characters, and since it's so fast to level right now with the way XP is earned, I don't really feel like I even need it. I'd just been doing the class stories on my Imperial character and almost nothing else, and I hit 65 pretty darn quick, and I really don't like leveling outside of the story, so I don't know. I don't know if I actually need it now that I haven't. I imagine it was really useful for people trying to level all 8 characters. And what I didn't like about the Dark versus Light event, obviously I didn't like the requirements for the last tier very much because they were incredibly intensive. I mean, I imagine those of you who had more time probably enjoyed doing them. Otherwise, I can't imagine why you would bother going through all that effort. But I didn't like the last tier. Mostly the ones that really scared me were doing all those hard mode flashpoints. And what I didn't like about the event that I actually did was it really felt like there was a pressure to do it because it was a timed event, and although it was quite a long event, especially at the end, I really felt like I really had to pick and choose what I could do to get it all done. I definitely didn't go to a few events with my guildmates. My guildmates are very social and they love doing group content, and so do I, but there was definitely nights where I just turned guild chat off and powered through, maybe turned on some music or some radio show in the background, just got her done. And I don't know, it makes me kind of sad because it feels like I'm playing a MMORPG. I should definitely be able to choose to do content with other people, but it felt like even the stuff I could do with other people, like leveling and those solo flashpoints you can do with other people, it wasn't time efficient. So I think if a event similar comes up again, I don't think I'd do it, and I'm really, really glad I didn't do the last tier and put all the time into that. I'm really looking forward to just having my time to be whatever I want to work on. If I want to work on PvP, I can do that. If I want to do flashpoints, probably not for a while, I can do that. And I think I might be burnt out of leveling for a little bit, so I'm not sure what I'm going to work on next. So at the end of this, I want to congratulate everyone who got all the way to the same tier as me. Well done. You got all the awesome rewards and you still had to do so much stuff. And I want a huge, huge congratulations to those of you who did the last tier. That is insane. You are dedicated. You got her done. Well done. Holy cow. Good job. And you can run around in that crazy, weird tank speeder on the fleet and I will go, jealous. And you can know that for sure. I just definitely did not have the time to work on that as well as everything else. And so, how far did you guys get? Leave a comment in the comments below and tell me where you got to and what were you hoping out of this event and what did you like? See you guys later.